digits, you've got to think that Flo's Casual Hellfire, if they get going, if they get situated on a low ground situation where Savage is not already there, these guys must be able to pop off a huge amount. And yes, they're currently in 20th, right? They're not in there. But again, every time you climb placements higher from here, more and more earnings over and over again. So definitely worth, and obviously the bragging rights. Came 15th sounds much cooler than 20th.
Bragging rights. Yeah, 100%. You always want the bragging rights. And the extra dosh does help a bit, doesn't it? So,
a little bit.
Not bad. Yeah.
Oh, man, boys. We only have 2 games left to go. It is a battle between first and second place. How is this all going to go? How is this going to unfold? Hang on to your seats, Fortnite fam. We're going into the next game on the day. Sancho with Shy Wager. Back over to you, friends.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Levin, and Reese. 2 teams at the top with 2 more games left to play. Sancho could not be more perfect. This game matters the most for everyone on the board, though.
It's a 2-trio race, and it's going to come down to the final moments. 2 more games here for the FNCS EU region. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, over $1 million prize pool is at stake. And now, Trulix, Queasy, and Jerky, the only thing that concerns me is this split that they have. We saw in the qualifier stage numerous times somebody random just hiding and waiting out, where they go to that character down there in Flush Factory. And look, bad sniper Marvin trying to be the kind of spoilers here for a moment, looking to all that they can to kind of return their fate and maybe net themselves a little bit more scratch.
Trulix is hyper aware. They've been interrupted so many times in unique ways. They're done playing it, risky whatsoever. They always leave one person behind. This time it'll be Trulix. To make sure no one's flying in, he always ends up landing early because this kind of generator building is on the upside, a higher point of landing. So everyone else on their team, Queasy and Jerky, they end up going a lot lower. They're still gliding. Meanwhile, Trulix can be active and defend the team. Save it already down in the feed to Nikov. That Weeping Woods fight is just going over and over and over again. Past that, Noah Riley, Vidil, Reason. I mean, this has to be the game to watch for them. Every time they have a good game, it's followed by a bad one. Every time they have a bad game, it's followed by a first place, at least today. So patterns are correct. They could win this game and have a big showing. Meanwhile, at Craggy Cliffs, 11th game, Sancho, the fights don't stop.
This is going to be monumental for Chapix and Hidden Janus. They have to walk away from Craggy Cliffs for them to have a chance to catch up. Right now, they slipped down 1 spot. Now they're in 8th place. This is what happens here when you're being contested. Chris, Vortex, Knight, the thorn on our champion's side here. This is one of those teams that just haven't been able to, discourage them from dropping. It was that one loss that they had in the previous day. Take a look here. The winner of the last 2 EU finals had 3 victory royales, and we had 2 trios in this tournament here from Vidil and Jerky's trio, having already accomplished that. But there's still 2 more games left. We'll all have eyes on these engagements and, of course, our elimination feed.
Man, the slow burn type of game just kind of ruins the game plan for Chapix, Janus, and Hen. They like having control of the map as well as fighting this kind of big battle off spawn. It's going to be tough, Sancho. We're talking about they need this game is because they're in 8th place rolling in, about 90 points away from first place. They definitely need a double-digit elim win to catch up for the win. In terms of catching up, to top 3, they're about 30-ish points away. So once again, a game of a difference. They're going to disengage. Haven't seen this happen today yet. It did happen yesterday. They go for the fish. They're going to be looking good so far. Going to have less loot, though, overall, and be bad on time. The last time they disengaged, I believe they had a little bit of a closer zone. This time, we're going towards what looks like Holly or Slurpee. It's going to be rough for them on rotate. Already, I feel like Podesire MXR from Stealthy Stronghold is already on this island. Or my apologies, Bubak actually, who's landing over at Stealthy. And he's on this island, he's already fished up a little bit. I think Janus and Chapix know on the top right POV. They might hunt him down, but he's already leaving the island. And look at Chris in the water, the yellow arrows on the map. We're at Slurpee right now, but they're chasing down our previous FNCS champions. They're not letting them get away for free.
We're here at Slurpee to keep tabs on the 4th place team as Kiriachi, Stormy, and Toos, the team that have just been having a really solid run, free rotations. Usually when you have Slurp Factory contested here and now going up against, that is Shadow's trio there who are doing that Shantytown split. Now we have eyes here on the 2nd place team who have been holding on to 1st place throughout the entire tournament. and they've just been kind of just putting in kind of like a points like really solid, you know what I mean? But when you have the teams that have been putting in some astronomical numbers, some huge performances like Vidil and Queasy, who has just been just as consistent, but you're just seeing the two clashes of meta style, right? The high ground and the low ground. And right now the high ground is just winning it out and they have the advantage, but it's only by 5 points. So look at the gold number right now. That is just in this session, 118. On the other side, Queasy is at 136. So if Refsguard's trio could get those 5 points, they automatically close the gap in the cumulative leaderboard.
Absolute 5-point difference. At the same time, here is the catch up. We're fighting this fight on a brand new map. It looks like usually craggy cliffs. Now we're on that Flopper Island. Chapix, Janice, and Hen have all the high points, but High Chris has actually made a little bit of a base on the right side. Gonna be looking for a shot, but he's playing it sneaky. They're not letting these guys extend these builds whatsoever because they might be able to find High Chris on his spot. Very smart from Vortex. As he does that though, gets bopped, low on shields. Janice down below 2, and he's almost down with no HP.
What a great adjustment from High Chris trio. Last time they let this trio disengage to Flopper Island. This time they decided to take the fight to them right on the island.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be the wrap-up of the tournament as well. There's no point really for this trio to roll in and disengage. They're going to keep chasing down, but Chapix stops their chase at least a little bit. Knight's 1 HP too. If he drops down and sees him with a quick flick, he can end his big run too. He's going to stay sneaky. Meanwhile, because of this, there'll be enough relief of pressure for Janice to get revived back up. A medkit in play too. They're going to be looking fine for now. Once again, though, Sancho, zone is not here. And these guys are already running through their meds and loot. Look at Chapix's inventory. This is not a Chapix loadout. Makeshift AR, blue pump. Finally find the sneaky man. Good night. Good night, literally. And that's gone. So these guys get to play their game out for the rest of game number 11. The thing is, though, they had to invest so much here. Look at all the hard mats. They barely got the fish. And zone's coming in.
It is vital for them to find a vehicle like you see in Gnosis Trio, put some chunker tires on that, which is a new introduction here in the season that just allows you to move like right over the terrain a lot faster. So they're going to sit there on Flopper Island, no doubt, hit up all the fishing holes. I've seen Thomas AC Flick and Gnosis here are going to visit this character to be able to buy a rift, and they're going to be able to move on through. It's so exciting to always see a rift. It just makes me so nostalgic. Oh, Rift to Ghost, I love you.
They'll be able to rotate fast. Meanwhile, Savage, oh my goodness, almost thrown off course. It's good.
It's a little, it's a little tough. The chunker tires a little bit, the suspension is a little high, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were made to literally jump buildings, but Refsguard makes it happen. And while he does that, they're going to look for tags as well. This is a mobile surge vehicle, and they're looking for it. They'll try to go for it. They'll move out. Refsguard will be able to heal and drive at the same time, or at least be in the car at the same time as he heals. Tulek, Squeezy, and Jerky, though. This is kind of the perspective. Second place and first, back to back. They got twos. I think they'll look to just hit that bow shot with the pump shot. Yes, they combine it for the big surge tags too. And that's going to be looking good for them overall. Stinkfish, 6 of them in play. You saw before, Sancho, Stinkfish kind of ruined one of their games. Now they're going to look to actually use them to get ahead of the competition.
Sometimes the Slurp Factory team used to go out into these fishing spots. They become fishermen for a bit. That's a big part of Kirachi's game plan. They have about 3 slots that's all dedicated to heals with floppers and mobility. If they had a spicy fish, that's what they use to overtake height. So that's why you found, you know, Two's way out there by themselves. So that's a great adjustment by Queasy's trio deciding to push, which has been so far a chill ride for that team coming out of Slurp Factory.
And if you're in the top 10 right now, you're also looking to grab mountains or grab guardian posts. We saw a Nas at one of them. Refsguard's going to be up towards the middle of the spire as well.
5 points, bro. 5 points. This is going, you know what I mean? That's what separates them from first place. And we already saw Queasy got another one, so it's actually 7 points, right? The elimination, 7. We have yet to get to that placement threshold in the top 25, so 7 points right now separating first and second.
Meanwhile, everyone's trying to catch up. They're kind of in a little bubble of their own, about 50 points ahead of everyone else. Nas, Flick, and Thomas, even the team all the way up top with Anilex and AZ, they need wins. They need wins right now to get all the way up top, but only one team can walk away with that victory royale. Only one team can really afford to push for double-digit elims and be safe at the same time. So Nas, Flick, and Thomas will try to. Going to keep rotating away.
And I have to say, you know, Anilex, they're coming back slowly. They're in top 10. In the previous game, they moved up from 13th to 10th place. They have 190 points. They're slowly turning their fate. It's one of those teams, just like in the playoffs of any kind of sports. They're a veteran team. You don't want to see them. You know they're going to be a tough out if they're along their rotation. So no doubt, seeing an Andelix trio sitting in front of you, that's not good news for Anas, because that trio is going to continue on the rotations. As you see, Reason actually knocking Pizza in the feet.
Pizza going down. Reason feels like these guys are already hot off their step, looking to have another great game. Zyku-san and Jules, I would say one of the most surprising performances of this FNCS. Rolling in, they look so good on height. They look so good in their heat as well. They just lack that experience of control. But so far today, 7th place. They're right behind Flickanos Thomas and ahead of Janice Chapix and Hen. They're next to legendary names rolling in on one of their first FNCSs, you know, looking really good too. They're just having a very stellar performance. Excited to see how they look in future seasons. The games aren't even done today. If they figure out how to make up for their lack of experience, take more risks, they can get even higher on the boards today.
They didn't even make it into round 4 of any of the qualifiers, so they are progressing right. And you're right, if the career trajectory, if they decide to stay together as a trio, they could definitely keep having a better performance in the next finals.
Astroki looks like he's back up with Pizza and Ardit, so the full elimination didn't really come through. Savage, although, has kind of invested a lot into this game. Must be medkits or something that are already down, maybe big pots. Still has that stink bow, is going to be moving over.
Ooh.
Wait for
Yes,
they're looking real good. 214 above, and they still have chances to do more damage. Who's right next to him? Yeah, but it's Fast Roki. They don't like letting a trio getting away for free. Fast Roki, a lot of the times, if they're down on Surge, they like having these box fights, but I don't feel like in the last 2 games they're going to be playing that super risky.
Just showing you there, they take a lot of moments here to fight this engagement. You have Wakey's trio out there, you have the Deals trio just a little bit further. Wedge is already being filled with big names of the EU region, and 7 points is all they need right now. So that number gets to 222, they catch up to Queasy. Placement points haven't been doled out. 5 points we're going to be doled out in about 4 places, and the lobby focus is coming in. This is 2nd place here on the ropes. They might get KO'd, and that's Noah Riley applying pressure on the other side. That's Asterios applying pressure on the other side. Here comes the Stink. The gas may be a little too dense for them, and Dreda now down without any shield on the sliver of life. Savage is on the same way, is able to get back to 100 HP, but Roughscar goes down. Too much pressure from all angles, as my boy Shio will say. Left, right, up, down, doesn't matter where they look, they were just getting too much, and now it all falls on Indreda's shoulders. This will be by far one of the lowest finishes they had throughout the entire tournament, and this is 2nd place once again. 6 HP and a dream, and that dream is being turned into a scary nightmare. Can they get it? Whoa, hold on just for a brief moment. And that's what FNCS comes all about, the brief moments. To be able to res your teammate Revsguard and Dreda, the classic duo, now have to hold on tight. It's not a Savage clutch that they need, and now it's a duo clutch of Indreda and Revsguard.
They'll try it. Red Rush Mappy Exterior still looking from the outside in. Indreda, their 2nd place chip, caught in a Bermuda triangle of pressure and stinks all around. Might be a shipwreck here in just a second. It's going to be so tough to get out of here, and they're not sure what's outside these walls. You can hear the footsteps too. The shield for Revsguard, he went down to Stink, so it still stays up for him. They get to save a lot on resources. In terms of the meds they have, they can see, I feel like, Revsguard through these walls. No, they're metal walls, gonna be tough. Here comes all the pressure. They have to move. Edit out right, but there's trios waiting outside too. 65 damage above, and they're still getting tagged. This is rough for Indreda and Revsguard for the moment. They're caught right back on Storm Line 2. 3rd zone moving in 45 seconds. This survival story has a timer. They not only have to escape this pressure, but then move in a time limit too. So this is going to be really strugglesome. 10 bills on Indreda too. This is just too rough.
My oh my, the shoes on the other foot. We saw this engagement down in Lazy Lake, and we saw Indreda, Revsguard, and Savage get a big key refresher off of Mappy's trio, and Mappy is just disengaging right now, leaving this trio on the island all by themselves with no life raft to be able to survive, and Storm Surge is raining down terror. 55 below. Not enough minis to hold on, but Red Rush, he sees that. He's trying to capitalize, but some tags on Red Rush here. Rescard and Dreda here. It's all but a matter of time for them to be eliminated here in one of the second games. And the Raptor says hello, but Asterios is the ultimate king. He takes them down, and now Red Rush, Asterios, and Mappy get revenge. And what an almost bad timing for Andretta, Rescard, and Savage to go down, because Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky are still on their feet, looking good, feeling good, breathing in that fresh air.
Fresh air, first place right now, watching in the feed, second go down. Refsguard and Dreda Savage are going to be one of the only top trios in the game right now not to be playing out this specific end game. This is a chance for a lot of people to catch up, but at the same time, a chance at the second last game of the EU finals for Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky to really solidify that first place spot.
The only trio I think they have to be very have to keep wary of is Vidil trio. Throughout the entire day, they've been playing height. They've already defended them once. They already got a huge bow shot to stop their push. So we have to keep an eye on what kind of position does Vidil trios have. But let's keep an eye on here on a third place team, Tayson.
Third place looking to take over second, but it's a 50-point gap they have to make up. Looking in for a big fight too. It's a Tomzy. Bloomy already a little bit affected. I think Percival's down. They're not going to be trading lives either. It's just damage. They pick up another. Find Percival. Looks like they found one more as well through the entire engagement. Haven't taken out the full trio, but they'll take those points. Let's talk about patterns and weaknesses for the two trios we were just talking about, Sancho, Queasy, and Vidil. For Vidil, once again, they're having bad games and then a victory royale. It's just bad. They're slated to get a VR right now, especially we've been seeing them picking up eliminations all throughout the map. Now for Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky, their biggest weakness is having height like they have right now and not being aware of the lobby getting overtaken. This is a scary situation. The only games they've really choked and lost is when they actually have high ground. Their consistent games is where they play mid, they look fine. This is such a good spot for them. They look like kings right now. But that throne is definitely up for grabs. They have to be very vigilant. Think about Thomas HD Flick and Anas as well. This is not a pattern we've seen for an entire season, but these last two games usually is where they operate. They love the pressure. They like being in sixth place all the way behind. Now, it's a big gap. They're about 80 points away or 60 points away from the first place, Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky. But if they can catch up now, it has to be the time. They'll have to take them off of height as well.
Let me introduce some other foes of Queasy's way. You have Shadow's trio, who are known to be aggressive at height. You also have a trio in Hen right behind them, who in game 4 yesterday were able to flank them and sneak up here. So it all depends where the zone 5, half in and half out. You already see Noah Riley already invested here in about 0 seconds. Here we go. In about a minute, we're gonna see zone 5 revealed, and let's see if Queasy or Noah Riley or Shadow gets that first moving.
We'll talk about the zones in the map too as these guys drop down pressure. You'll see a bunch of eliminations come through. The more important thing is we haven't seen a Slurpee endgame zone just yet in these FNCS finals. We've seen Caddy multiple times, Lazy Lake multiple times. The Orchard, Spire in the middle as well has been big, and Vidil, Noah Riley like to operate there. Everyone has experience on all sides of the map. Over here though, the bottom left side of the map, we have not seen any of these teams have their takes so far inside this lobby. This is going to be a brand new, fresh game. Noah Riley's looking for picks already. Thomas HD got some in the feed. Slender is still alive this game. All the trios we're used to seeing go down are up and ready. This is a completely fresh experience.
What a solid position right here. Look how much lobby is just coming their way from Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason. They haven't been able to get there. There is finally a good knock on Domentos right there, but those are the valuable elimination points they could to close the gap situation. He's done it in previous season. He's going to have one of the biggest clutches, but look, Height's in trouble. Trulex Jerky goes down, and Queasy has been put down to low ground. He is in shambles. Queasy doesn't want to be down here. The air is not just too dense for them. His lungs are used to clean air. Queasy now, he has to do all that he can to hold on. This is the first place team going down, and placement points are well out getting doled.
This might be the most important clutch of Queasy's career in general. The longer he stays alive, the more of a gap he makes between him and Savage, who went down so much earlier. It's all about placement points for that team right now, but for Exterios, Mappy, and Red Rush, it's all about the catch-up. If Queasy goes down as well, it basically becomes a foot race for every top 10 team to close that gap, but it's all down to him. 15 different teams alive right now. That placement will come in every single time one goes down. Queasy moving forward, only soft mats, 400 builds. He's looking to harpoon any type of materials, but every edit he opens is an invitation for more beams to come from any direction that he's looking at. A big shot right in front. He dodges it, goes towards low ground. He's still moving in. He is getting more placement. Thomas HD's down. He has a little bit, but he's taken out now. For every other team up right now, it's a chance for contention, a chance to catch up to the first and second place team. This is that gap game, and every team's looking to fill it.
Reason, Noah Riley, and Badil are second from height. You're taking a look at Kinzel, 16th place going into this match here. They have some chance to move up their leaderboard, but Tayson, ForZR, Nate, who have been passive at in-game, are now looking at height to see if they could take it. If Tayson, ForZR, Nate could take height, they could move from third place and close the gap that the first and second place team are. You talked about it, Shio, 50 points, but Badil gets a knock on Joe. So Badil and Noah Riley are making their move right now as Tayson's going to the front side of the storm here just to make sure that they get as much placement as possible. We're getting closer and closer to the top 10 situation. Kinzel, Wake, and iDrop have the advantage here, but now we're taking a look at who has the advantage on the low ground. It's Andalex. We talk about the veteran trio you do not want to see controlling the low ground, but now we focus here back to third place. Shio, Ken Tayson right here, the ultimate solo star. Find the impact frags. I think he got that one. Maybe we'll see. But Tayson, yes, he does. And that was on the deal.
Wraps up the deal. One of the other top teams in fifth place rolling in. Tayson is trying to big that gap all the way from third to fifth place and catch up to first. He's looking possibly for a height retake 2. Surveying the area. Meanwhile, Marine down in the feed. Wolfie's going away too. That entire squad is getting taken away. He's done the analysis. I feel like the team might be going for it in just a second. They have a little bit of those materials, but no. Kinzel, Wakey, and iDrop are way too high. We're going straight to the ocean as well. Low ground's going to be a little bit of trouble. They have to build a little bit more on the floors. Tayson is getting close and personal to that low ground as well. Building all the way left and right. Shaco's going down in the feed. Snazy on low ground also gets taken out by Nate. This squad is active. They're looking for box-to-box fights, and they're winning them all.
They need all these points right here. A 50-point gap going into it, like I said before. And if they get this, Tayson now is in trouble. 5 HP. He's going to have to move on out, but I think Tayson was able to survive that pressure here. Tayson, ForZR now getting pressure from height. Tayson down to a sliver of health here. 6 eliminations from Nate. The former FNCS champion goes down in a flash so quickly. Now it's ForZR here. He's in the back of the storm. ForZR holding on. 19 HP, and he goes down as well. This is going to be a victory royale for Wakey, Kinzel, and iDrop here. And Clement, old names, old guard here on the line. Clement dapping into the water here, holding on as much as possible. But iDrop, Wakey, and Kinzel, too much to handle, too hot to hold. 7 eliminations and the victory royale. That's big for them. They were 16th place. They could get up closer. We talked about all it takes, 2 games, 2 pop-off games. You get a lot of movement on that board, Shio.
That was definitely a catch-up game, though, for the majority of the server, right? A lot of those top teams going down early, even ForZR not being able to go all the way to the end for the victory royale. I'm wondering how that shakeup looks. What does the catch-up look like? We have to toss it over to the desk to see exactly how that game's results throw down.
Boys, we're in the back just screaming our heads off. All right, we're just yelling as all of this is happening. Trios falling left and right. This is absolutely insane. Now, we'll take a look at the standings in just a little bit, but this was game number 5 on the day. 11 of the overall tournament finals here in Europe. Gentlemen, at this point, it's a battle between first and second. Everyone else is playing for third. And when we're looking at these like spots, we're talking about a large amount of prize money, okay? And all these trios, they're looking to climb as high as they can to walk away with more of that pie. Reese, Levin, this game is way too tight right now.
Look, you said it's a battle for first and second, but it almost was a battle for first and second. This was a full southwest zone. It looked like Queasy completely had it in them. This is basically the worst possible zone for Savage's team, pulling all the way from Steamy Stacks all the way to max distance map. We saw it not work out for them, but at the same time, it looked like it was going to be Queasy's zone. As soon as that 5th zone pops, they're situated on height. No way to build over. They can't do their signature height play, and it all falls apart on the rotate. So both of our top 2 teams eliminated early in this game, which which means that we saw 4ZR. We were watching 4ZR tasting a Nate through that entire end game. I think that was a third for them there with, I think, 7 eliminations, which is a ton of points, which means it was a battle for top 2. But I think with that game, those guys are going to move all the way up. And now it seems to be a 3-way battle for first coming into the final match.
Yeah. I wanted to come out and say, look, the top 2 teams made their lives a bit harder coming into that last game. But it's really unlucky, right? In the case of Savage's Shiro, where you have the max distance zone. It's not even a max distance zone, the max distance zone for that team. And even in Queasy and Trulex's case, they don't pull 50-50. That height difference, it just wasn't going to happen, right? They just weren't going to get height there. And so you saw they were posturing for it, right? You know what they want to do, but they just couldn't execute it. And so going into this last game now, it's a 3-horse race. And what a race is it? What a race. Like, this is going to be crazy. Ultimately, one of these 3 teams is going to be in the sort of closing moments of that game. And that's probably going to be the team that takes it. And so what happens now if there's all 3 of those teams in that situation? Like, then things just get...
We have a good game.
We're getting all different levels of crazy right now in the final game.
This is absolutely insane. We'll take a look at these standings in just a second. First, we got to talk about our top 3 going into that last game. This battle at the top. We got to highlight the 3 trios that are closest to the Axe of Champions.
We literally just talked about these teams as already. We set this up saying, let's go the top 3 teams coming in. I think they're still the top 3 teams in contention right now. 4ZR, Tayson, and Nate had a good first day, but not anything amazing. They were 4th coming out of that first day. Now they're in 3rd, so moved up a single point, maybe even pushed their way up the leaderboards a little bit more. But Rescard, Savage, and Drea, after the first day, they were in 1st. It was all looking really, really good up until that, what was that, game number 10, where they started to get overtaken then. And then here we go, 11 games deep. They've kind of moved down a little bit. The gap seems to be changing a little bit more. This is one of the best 3-way races coming into the finals that we've seen in a long time. This is so tense.
Yeah, and you look at Queasy and Trulex, both incredibly experienced players. Juriki, this is only his 2nd time playing in an FNCS finals. Is the pressure going to get to him coming into that final game? He tweeted out just before the last game, we need to focus now. And so is this going to be the opportunity for them to close things out and win their first ever FNCS championships collectively? First team to break 300 points, 308 points, sitting on top of that standings. Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki, they need to hold on going into this last game. Refs got and Mr. Savage, even though they didn't get the game they wanted, they're still sitting there in 2nd, and the gap is reachable between them and Queasy. And so now, even with Tayson, 4ZR, and Nate coming into this race, it is still a very difficult one to win.
Look, here's what I'm going to lay out for you. The worst game that Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki have had so far has been 10 points. So let's assume that's the same again. That puts them on 318, which means that Rescard, Andrea, and Savage, 4ZR, Tayson, and Nate will need to win the game, and Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki will need to have one of the worst or equally worst games they've had throughout today when they're extremely consistent already, which is very, very unlikely in order for them to win. Watching Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki's early and mid game is going to be so critical, because if they go down early, it's an absolute open field for any other 2. Potentially, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Reason Vidil Noah Riley. If they win with a huge elimination game, which we've already seen them do, and the top 3 don't perform, which again is possible, they could potentially get in there too, but they could also get up into top 3.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? We are all focusing on who's going to be the one to clinch first place coming into this last game. But of course, there are still stakes that need to be set in terms of looking at who can get top 3. You want to auto qualify, right? So all those teams that, I feel bad for Sancho and Shire in a way, because they're going to have to keep a track of everything and let us know what's going on, because there is going to be so much riding on this final end game. Like, I just want to sit back now and just enjoy the action.
Listen, I just checked, okay? Queasy has just tweeted, this decides it all. Good luck to all. Juriki, good luck, everyone. Good luck. They are aware. This is confidence coming into this game. Will they take it home? Will they be dethroned? We're about to find out, Fortnite fam. One final game in Europe. Sancho West, Shire Wager. Bring us home, boys.
3 teams, 1 dream, and the best reason to do it in, it's Europe. The last game, Sancho West, is on the line, and we're going straight in with Savage, Rescard, and Andretta. 2nd place about 20, almost 30 points behind. Can they do it? Can they catch up to first place and triumph in the final game of EU?
There's only 4 words that could capture this moment. Good luck and have fun. This is the final game of the FNCS EU region. Will we have a new FNCS champion, or will Hen, Genesis, and Chapix, I don't know, do the astronomical performance? But all eyes are on our top 3. Queasy, Revsguard, and Tayson all have a chance to win. And it all went down to the final moments last season. Will we get a repeat finish?
They have been the most consistent all throughout the day. You can see the stat on screen. The thing is, though, it's not about consistency anymore. They're on the catch-up. They were playing defense a majority of this tournament. We're sitting very, very chill in that first place spot. Now at second, they need to actually be proactive this game. They can't just stay waiting on low ground. Maybe play for height. Depending on where the zone goes to, that'll be huge. You know what happens in the final games of the day on EU. We end up in the mountains. We end up in the sea. It gets crazy. Meanwhile, though, regardless of all of that, Trulex, Squeezy, Jerky, first place. So good throughout the whole day. Reset it best just to show you how dominant these guys are. Their worst game, Sancho, they get 10 points. You have to count on this team to have a good game no matter what. And every team right now in the lobby is preying on their downfall.
Essentially, their worst has been a lot of trios' best. They have a 24-point lead right now. If you want to keep tabs on it, you want to do the work with us, you want to do the math. Trulix's trio is at 155 for the session. That means for the day. You're looking at Indretta's trio still locked in at 118. Third place right now is 118 as well. So you're looking about 24 points difference between first and second. Third place right now is at an 11-point difference between third and second. Good luck doing math.
And in this final game, we pulled up an extra chair at the table. There are 3 teams neck and neck, close by, looking for that top tier first place spot. The champions of Europe, the before ZR, Tayson, and Nate rolling in 273 points throughout both days. They're also very, very close, but have to do so much and hope that Queasy, Jerky, and Trulex trip over themselves trying to clinch this last game.
Let's take a look at the Zone 1 that's been revealed. If you're sitting out there and you're a Queasy fan, they're on the bottom left of your screen, and they have to go through all of those South rotator players that are all out there that have been just clawing. They've been bruising a lot of people, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as they make that treacherous rotation. And Shayo, Savage, Revsguard, and Dretta, this is really close. This is a very winnable situation considering Zone 1 pulled their way. Last zone went all the way across the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's close to them, but neither team really pull the zone into their domain. Everyone's gonna have to move a little bit, especially for ZR all the way at Sweaty Stands. Even Steamy Stacks, you see that white line? They have to eventually end up leaving this POI. They're on a timer, and they have to make sure their game is efficient.
We cannot forget fourth place. The deal, Noah, Riley, and Reason making a return back into the top 3. So that's the only new team that are within the striking distance, within being that auto qualification as well. What a phenomenal performance from them, no matter what. It let them know that they could change their play style. If for some reason the placement points or elimination points changes, they know they could be aggressive, they could be that buzzsaw. But this is what's been so impressive throughout the day is Trulex, Queasy, and Jerky who've been playing height aggressively. And who knows, imagine if day 1 they were able to get those victory royales when they had height, how much of a runaway performance this would be for season 6.
Yeah, I have it down in my notes. This team was literally supposed to win on day 1. The positions they were in, you're absolutely correct. Like, they literally were dominant and no team could, in theory, really catch them. In reality, though, they definitely did get caught. Going back, though, watching the VODs, making sure all the mistakes were fine. They came into day 2 with a fresh mindset, and now they have a huge lead on many teams. All they have to do this game is survive.
We already talked about a lot of numbers, but let me throw you the big numbers that's happening here. But let me put a pause on that as our defending FNCS champions are in trouble. Lanouf's trio here has put so much pressure on them. Now that Janice is in a defensive stance here, Lanouf does get hit. It is cracked right now, and that might be just enough to kind of slow down this push that's happened from Slicks, Marine, and Lunef.
Gonna be trying to go all the way in. At the same time, every team right now, they might not be holding anything back. In the last game, you might need a lot of eliminations to go a little bit higher and the prize thresholds there are for the entire tournament we're watching so far, for the whole finals, for Janus and Chapix, it might not be possible for them to level up the whole way and get top 3. They're about, I would say, 40 points behind. So they definitely would need the win. High Chris is here, still chasing them. They disengaged over and over again yesterday. And, you know, both teams got to play their games out. If this is the first time you're tuning in for the day watching, Hen's team, we're watching on screen right now, Under the Bridge, has been contesting High Chris's team for all 12 games. They're trying to run away too, just to play this one out. High Chris does not care. They're coming through, chasing all the way. They're trying to have this fight towards the very end.
This is so heartbreaking to watch. Hen, Chapik, and Janus. Chapik's tweeted out that he has never been contestant since squads. And we're just seeing them right now. Defending champions. Not a lot of room to breathe. They essentially need a double-digit elim and a victory royale, and a lot of other teams ahead of them to go down, but I'm not seeing it. As much as I would love to root for a repeat, the repeat is looking like it's in shambles.
Entire tournament hanging by a thread, no shields to kind of protect them either. They have to do this absolutely raw. Vortex jumping all the way in. Hen gets taken out. Chapix 1 HP. Both these teams, both these players have such a history throughout these entire finals. And although Janus, Chapix, and Hen have been winning off spawn entirely, it might just be High Chris who gets the last laugh. Janus on his wall. Champions fall. Their run so far for the top 3 is over. Phenomenal, though. Contested for 12 games. They had a very good showing and will end somewhere within the top 10 or 15 at the end of the finals.
It's just something that when it comes down to this moment, this is what it is all about. FNCS, we still have 3 teams that are just separated by a victory royale. Payson, 4ZR, and Nate. As a team, they're in 3rd place. Only 11 points behind. Again, 118. Keep an eye on that number. It needs to be added by 11 more points, and they're tied for 2nd place. Of course, that's all going to come down to tiebreakers and things of that sort, but this is why I'm casting and I'm not an admin. Right now, we're all eyes right here. Focus. Everyone gather around. We're getting into the final moments of Game 12 here. And you may think, Sancho, this game just started. This feels like the finality of it. You know what I mean? This is it.
It is. It is. It's the last game. Jerky, Queasy, Trulex, 1st place. And with the champions from last season gone, it's like we're at the coronation for this team so far. If it was a movie, right, there could be a possibility of hijinks happening at the ceremony. People are still in contention, the top 2 teams, to interrupt. But once again, for these guys to lose their 1st place slot, they would have to go down before kind of the 8th or 9th zone. I don't see that happening, especially from this spot. There's no teams near them. No bow shots really hitting this big Guardian outpost. There's no chance that these guys flip up right now. As the game goes on, it will get scarier. Here's the team that wants to make it happen. Savage and Dreda, Refsguard, once again, 2nd place. They need to catch up. They need to win this game.
I was mentioning big numbers before. Let me hit you with those numbers right now. 1st place, $300,000. 2nd place, $210,000. 3rd place, $135,000. That's what's at stake here between the 3. Not only that acts of champions, not only be able to put that social media post, not only to be able to make that video that's going to get thousands and thousands of views, and your clout's going to go up because everyone's going to call you a champion. It's all about that life-changing money as well. And then you go down 4th and 5th, 6th, still thousands and thousands of dollars. That top 10 is going to be a threshold that you want to break, because if you break that top 10, Shayo, that's going to be $10,000 a piece.
You want to make sure you can catch up. The other thing on the line as well for every team behind the one on screen right now, Tayson, 4ZR, and Nate, basically everyone from 4th place below. You hit top 3 this FNCS, you're automatically invited to the next one to be inside the finals as well. So Tayson, 4ZR, and Nate have their own gate to keep while they try to get further and further up inside the top 3. They have to make sure they don't go down and they get an auto qual all the way. You saw how rough it was for their season. All the qual weeks, issues, errors, in heats as well. They kind of fixed it up, but they had trouble getting all the way here. They look amazing today. Amazing right now, but they don't want to repeat the process.
Still, other teams that are in this match have a lot to play for themselves. We cannot forget about that all-star game that will happen later on. The top 15 will be able to get into that match.
We're looking for big qualifications on all sides. Queasy, Jerky, Trulex in a little bit of trouble right now. These are the spots that you can't make mistakes at. And these are also the places where every other team who was playing normally might be slightly hungrier, understanding that, hey, we might need to get the top 10. I want to get to the upper portions of prizing. I might have to push the team in front of me that I usually would in Sun and Jules, a passive team. Might make that choice, but no, with this defensive base, Queasy, Jerky, and Trulex will be fine. They're used to being free, though. They like walking around. That's not going to be the case right now. And on Surge as well, they're just 18 damage above.
Yeah, yes, exactly what I was going to point out. Look at it. Both people that are in the top 3, just above Surge, and 10 players have to go down here very soon in the next zone. So every shot's mattering. They're going to have to get this important tags. Revsguard in the bottom right of your screen, armed with an infantry rifle. Doesn't get any connections, but look at the zone, Shio. Zone 2, it's going to be another mountain finish.
Can't get nervous here on the Surge. I know it's just 18. It's half a tag. It looks drastic, but patience is key. Everyone else should be a lot more nervous and more desperate to push for shots. Queasy always hits these, but no, doesn't get a single bullet on the head. People all the way up top, Stompy, Shadow, and
32.
Joe, and Lazy Lakes. 19 above now.
Oh,
it's looking fine. Everyone should be edging more towards looking for box fights, looking to really just push their game to the absolute limit. Trulex, Queasy, Jerky, different circumstances. They're feeling fine. Pizza Ardent, kind of desperate. Reason is right here with Vidil and Noah Riley. They're looking right beside Tayson, actually overtake them and get into the top 3. They're in 4th place currently. Tayson has to defend this right now inside the same POI. They're 192 damage below. They need to go for a fight. They're pushing for it. Ardent inside this building, but no, Tayson is moving with no protection all the way up the side of this ramp, and he gets beamed down, has to heal all the way up, and 21 damage above. The outreach was worth it, but they're still not off scot-free.
The monster that's underneath the bed of Tayson's dreams of a 3-time FNCS championship is now haunting them and giving them some nightmares, because look, they're only 9 above, and throughout the entire tournament we've seen Storm Surge being the bullseye, the target, and so many trios right now are looking for those easy eliminations to get them those thousands of dollars as they creep up more and more on the leaderboard. A lot to play for everybody else on the field.
They can't screw up the Surge now. The entire run they've had this season, it's been Surge issues every single time. There's no way in this game, the finale, will they just trip up for now? Yeah, they go all the way up, build the bases, 86 damage above. It's looking good. And now with 69 players alive, Surge will stop still. They're not kings of their spot right now. Joe, Stompy, and Shadow can have better peaks right below them. Fast Roki and Ardent will look to cause trouble. Meanwhile, Trulex, Jerky, trapped beside a river in a shed. They finally broke free and are moving on their way to an empty zone where no one's really claimed that much ground. This could be huge. Get them into a spot to survive and not really have a team interrupt them. Wow, Jerky, a big bow shot to get Surge. Remember, they were barely up on it. Another one. This is so huge for Jerky. They don't have to make as many edits now. They're going to be relaxing for the moment, too. The issue is they've bullied 2 teams on mountains and caught their attention. One of them being team that might be looking at them stop their run. Savage and Dread Revsguard.
This is like one of those things right there. Is you're seeing that they're used to being really chill on Surge. They can make those kind of aggressive plays for height, but when you have that Surge parasite weighing you down, that anchor, you're not going to be as free to crank up to height. Those 90s just become a little bit heavier. In fact, Shio, everything is heavier right now. Every edit, I bet you their mouse or controller, whatever input they're playing on, just feels a little bit more heavier. It's like a 5-pound weight sitting on it.
Definitely a lot of pressure. Nate 4ZR Tayson, though, no strangers to it. We know how decorated Tayson is. We know the prowess of Nate and 4ZR too. Popping off, whether it's duos for Nate, whether it's the trio prowess of 4ZR as well. Tayson's so good in every mode too. These guys can definitely do it, but once again, they're the team that the majority of players in this lobby are looking to take out. I know 1st and 2nd are having their own battle, but for 3rd, they are on the line. Fast Roki beats the Ardent above them, want to break in. Andalex in 8th place wants to roll through. Kiriachi right below them in 5th. They're trying to get through too. They had a chance to meet up with Vidil, Noah Riley, and Reason. They're right below them in 4th place. Meanwhile, in 2nd, Savage, Revsguard, and Dreda. looking at the server, trying to pinpoint where that first place team is, or just trying to get tags.
They're looking good though. Center zone and everybody that's in the top 3, everybody in the lobby that's still alive has been doled out 5 points. So that's why they went from 118 to 123. So far, no movement yet in the top 3. No one's gaining ground. No one's lost ground right now between Andretta's trio, ForZR, and Queasy. All looking good. The only thing that I'm really concerned is this right here. What does the Storm Surge look at? We saw 2 big bow shots, putting them at 85, putting 160 into that HP bankroll. But is that going to be enough for them to last? Are they going to have enough financial Storm Surge to be able to withstand all this pressure that's happening right here, right now?
Talk about pressure. This is a very similar position we saw, I believe, Anas, Thomas HD, and Flick at last game. A team focuses you while you can't really move between the 3rd, 4th, and 5th zones. You start running out of your materials completely. Fast Roki's not letting this one go. They're dropping down all their ammo into this position. They ran out of shields above them. They ran out of gas. They ran out of mats completely. And it looks like they're looking to all in an 8-4-ZR and Tayson below before this storm starts to move.
We're seeing that a knock went through for reason. Now they're at 169 for this session here. They closed the gap just a little bit. They're still 17 points behind 3rd place.
Anas, Thomas HD are also used to winning at least one game, I feel like, inside these finals, having a big pop off, and they haven't done it yet. They could steal away the VR. They're still alive and looking really healthy. Meanwhile, Savage, wide open edit. Good job closing it after all that pressure. I was expecting a bow shot to come in. That would not be good for just the inventory management and loadout. Joe Stompy are still all the way up on their high ground position from Lazy Lake. They're looking to dominate this game. They did one yesterday, but once again, they're looking for repeat performances, trying to get up in the prizing thresholds. Oh no, ForZR down. That's what I was talking about. Fast Rookie did not want them to get away for free. Nate now stuck behind the wall. It's not his. He can't edit it. Pizza looking for the big shots, but he goes down. The Storm and a lot of shots inside the circle as well. Nate, as a result, getting the Elam or not, will fall privy to them too. Tayson will have to leave him behind. And look who they're going to be running into. Reason, Vadil, Noah Riley. He's caught their attention. The 4th place team right below them might be the ones to take him out, but he might be actually affecting them in moving by. I think, yes.
Oh my!
He picked up Vadil, got the Elam too. 4th place now in shambles. 3rd place just has one teammate left over. Tayson is not going to go out without a big bang. He's looking for the big shots. Reason is going to be taken down on shields. Zone, 17 seconds. Still moving in. They're really desperate. They pushed up on these builds to move forward. But they're still not in zone. This is trouble.
Tayson, the 2-time FNCS champion, a trio champion, and a solo champion, is going to make his way to hold on as much as possible. A lot of ground to move on through to make sure they could get closer to the top here, but we're seeing they're still are still in, and we saw Savage was able to get a couple eliminations. Reason and O'Reilly, who are sitting in 4th place, who've been moving up the board slowly but surely here, now have to continue the rest of it, and Tayson is out, locked in 3rd place, but we already know there's going to be a lot of movement because there's a lot more game here in the final 12th game, Shio.
Savage still acting like a frilled neck lizard right now, really puffing out his chest and looking for big positions all the way inside the circle. Every team right now is doing their best to be intimidating and make sure no other team steps to them or gets in their box. Meanwhile, Freezy, Trulex, Jerky, the 1st place trio is not on that wavelength. They're more so operating like a jack in the box. Low ground, being very low key. They don't want to make any over edits. They're hiding from the rest of the lobby. Meanwhile, when that game actually goes through, we get towards end game, you'll see them pop out. A big scary trio who loves to go for height. They'll still be on their game. There they are, side by side, 1st and 2nd place with a very different play style and with a full metal base, basically a submarine base. It looks like all the way on low ground. No one's going to be penetrating it whatsoever. No shots will really come through. They'll be fine all the way till end game.
Let me just make things simpler right now. I know all of us are trying to do math, but Queasy, if they could just outplay Andretta, then they're going to be able to have a great chance of winning it all. It's basically a victory royale for Andretta. That is the win condition for the FNCS championship.
This is a 2 trios race. You're absolutely right. Whoever survives longer wins this FNCS, as long as they get to one of those end game circles. So we're on our marks. We're getting set and ready. In 3 seconds, we'll have the zone and we'll be ready to go. Toos, Kiriachi, Stormy right, Noah Riley up top. You know, but Noah Riley Reason of a deal are on height. They're so good at just punishing every low ground team. This could be trouble for Savage and Queasy as well. None of them looking to take height, really. They're looking to survive. Same place, same boxes, and they both don't really pull zone completely. It's a pseudo max rotate, and they might be right beside each other.
Savage, the in-game leader for this situations right here. His prowess, his clutch factor is all on the line. He has to lead Refsguard and Dreda. Savage joining this duo to form this newly trio that's performing out of their minds right now. Only 13 above Storm Surge, so that's going to be dangerous for them.
They're following the old tarp of Trulex, Squeezy, and Jerky. They're actually box to box, side by side, it feels like, and right behind their tails, they actually end up on different layers. That could have been so dangerous out ahead of them. Breaking into another person's box, so they might go toe-to-toe with Andalex on low ground. I'm focusing on the bottom right now for Savage. Queasy is way ahead of zone. They're looking really good right now. Savage, meanwhile, is walking by, burning trees, a forest set ablaze, and working through builds that aren't even his own. This is not normal. He likes having his own lair. They found ultimate low ground, though. They're free. Green pastures, and they're moving forward. Meanwhile, Queasy is slightly elevated up top. It's a battle of who can survive. They put out some fire, but the rest of the builds catch. Savage's feet are hot. He goes all the way back, and it's time for a med kit. Meanwhile, Queasy going all the way a little bit for height. It's interrupted and dropped down below. Both teams trying to survive, both in so many different layers of pressure.
Queasy trying to go back to his playbook to go for height, but was denied by Flick-A-Nos and Thomas HD. All eyes are on the right side of the screen. Let's see what happens right here. Savage is in trouble. Savage is down to 7 HP without any shield here. This is going to be a moment right now for the tournament. Run is on their lives right now. Can Queasy, Jerky, and Trulix just hold on? But look at the push that's happening on the bottom right. Savage, the trio, picks up elimination, and they have so much space control right now. They're pushing through the builds. They're getting the E-limbs right now. But can Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky just hold on? That's all they have to do.
Queasy, Trulix, Jerky moving slower and lower in boxes. Find a big edit onto the Symptos. They get a huge knock. This will be dangerous to try to finish, though. Every edit they look for could be on the front of a pump shotgun going straight to the face. Queasy backs up. The full trio still alive, still healthy, and have a reasonable amount of materials. Savage, though, pop the medkit. He's looking good all the way on the bottom right side of your screen. Anas, Thomas, Flick are still doing their thing on high ground. They're not over and ready to give things up completely this FNCS. And Dreda has gone down on the bottom right side of the feed. Second place might be getting left behind in the dust and fire as Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky are looking to control low.
They're right on the same layer at the low ground, just a small layer separating. Savage and Refsguard as a duo have to work together against Jerky and Trulix. A knock goes through on Queasy, getting Clement. That's going to be a more points on the board right here. It's unbelievable. First and second here on the low ground, and Savage takes out Trulix. This may be the opening that they need to be able to catch up right now. Queasy and Jerky are still on their feet, and Queasy's in trouble. Queasy's going to be taken out, and now Savage and Refsguard with 6 eliminations and the victory royale in their sights could win it all right here, right now.
I don't see Trulex fully out just yet, so that first team might still be in the way. Jerky going down towards the storm. It looks like I don't see Savage alive either. It could be a matter of just moments and mere points right there, but it seems as though Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky have done enough to wrap up the FNCS. It might be a matter of moments, but they should be your champions. Meanwhile, Thomas, Anas, and Flick, they'll roll into the end game. You can never count them out when you talk about EU. Slated to win everything, they'll be on defense with Hottie, but Anas goes down, almost close to Thomas HD. Both teammates down. It's up to Thomas to clutch things out in the final game. 2 final teams left, but it's looking like almost, yes, a 1v3. The impossible task is in front of Thomas HD. This is going to require everything he's done so far, all the experience. 130 drop down, block the shot, another flick on the right, but it's not going to be enough. Thomas gets taken down, and Andun and Joku are the ones to win the final game. But that 2-legged race, the 2-man 3v3 that happened in the end game, Sancho, looks like Trulex came out on top.
Wow, what a great finish for our 12th game. Congratulations to Andun for getting that victory out with that trio there. You can definitely build on that performance. But hey, the soda's gonna be popping right here, right now for Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky. Congratulations, you are this season's FNCS champion.
Absolutely. What a phenomenal run on both days. The first day looking like they should have won the way they were playing. They couldn't confirm anything. They had their card in the register, just couldn't pay the cash. This time, though, they're getting paid in hundreds and thousands of dollars, winning out the day, 3 VRs, the second game surviving all the way through, 333 points. I guess lucky number 3 is the way for this trio season for this squad, Sancho.
That was really cool. This is a newly formed trio. You know, they kind of had middle of the pack performances in previous seasons, and for them to put it all together when it matters the most in day 2, making those adjustments. You said it right there. $300,000 being awarded, $100,000 life-changing money and respect from the FNCS community.
Absolutely. That's it, though, from Shia Wager and Sancho West on the casting desk. 2 days of games, Sancho. The craziest zones we've seen in the EU. I wouldn't want to cast it with anyone else.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to production. Let's go ahead and kick it to the boys out in the analyst desk.
Shia Wager, Sancho West, thank you guys. Absolutely incredible job. Boys, all of the threes are right. I was actually trying to run it. There was 5 threes. They have 53 eliminations. They're a trio, which is 3. There's 3 open qualifier rounds. There's 3 reboot rounds. There's 3 acts of champions. Wait a minute. It's all lining up. Queasy, Trulex, Jerky. They won. They won it all. And all I could think about the whole time was, what if Savage clutches it up? What if Sancho West's prediction came true? But it didn't matter. Because Queasy, Trulex, Jerky, they said, no, Zeke. I'm sorry. I love you and Sancho West so much, but we would like the acts of champions this season, and they walk away with it. Oh my gosh, boys, what an incredible day.
There has been absolutely no doubt in my mind that this team has been one of the best, and the best, on the day. Anytime you watch an endgame, Queasy, Juriki, Trulex have been there. You see them on height, you see them not on height, nearing height, whatever their strategy has been, these guys have always been in the play. When we're looking at the matches, I am in no way surprised to see these guys up in first. 3 victory royales total, and this is just about time for Queasy's team.
I'm so incredibly proud of them. You know, you look at the journey all 3 of these players has been on. Queasy and Trulex as a duo, you know, they've lasted the test of time in EU. We've known them to be a top team within the region consistently season after season, but they just couldn't push it over the line. They couldn't join that list of the elite within the region, and they finally have done that today. Juriki as well, the pride of Croatia, has come through, and he's really been the spark for this trio. He's been the Kickstarter that's helped them push them over the line, and the FNCS Championship to round things up. Look at how consistent they've been over the course of the season. Across all qualifiers they've played, across the semi-finals and these finals, an average placement of 7.5. No one even comes close to that in EU. These guys have just been so consistent to a different level.
Just remember, I want to harp on about that a little bit, because qualifiers, semifinals, and now on the finals, their average placement was 7.5. That is incredibly consistent. That is the most consistent team today in the finals for the placement, but incredible how that manages to span across so many different tournaments, so many different stages of all of these different kind of moments. Incredible consistency from these guys, and these guys have been absolutely on fire. Note at the bottom, lowest points game, 10. Their lowest point game, I said this earlier, was 10. But that wasn't only just today in the finals. The lowest point they got was 10, but that was including through the semi-finals and through the qualifiers as well. So just absolutely nuts. These guys are clutching every single game that they managed to.
And it's so, you know, you love to see the stories that you get out of it. And Fortnite is a game we all enjoy to play. It provides for such levels of hype and entertainment. But, you know, when you see Juriki talking about, you know, family matters and wanting to win everything to provide for his family, to help get his family out of hard times, it touches the heart, really. And I'm so happy for these guys. I'm so proud of them, because this is a great achievement that will never be forgotten.
Look, we're happy, we're proud, but I guarantee he's proud, his teammates are proud, his family is proud, and that can go on for every single one of the members of these teams. This is a huge, huge accomplishment. The champions of the region, also obviously the money to their name, which is fantastic, and of course the acts of champions. It probably could not have gone to a more deserving team in this season from Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki.
Once again, congratulations to the new Trios champions in Europe. Well fought, an entire season, and now you can hold your heads high. With the Acts of Champions in hand, They will look to defend that title going into the next FNCS. We got to relive the BRs from the day, boys. There's standings we got to look at. There's all these things we got to talk through rather, because it has been a nail biter, heart-stopping action, heart-pounding action. I can't even I'm trying to process this in the moment, but I can't, Reese 11. I just can't. But we got to take a look here at this next little bit. My goodness.
You got to remember,
wow.
it was a battle, right? All the way down to the end. Obviously, we see Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky. Number one, 333 points, $300,000 earned for the team split each way. 100,000 each. I'm certainly not complaining if I were them. Let's put it that way. But going into the final game, it was all between Resguard and Dread and Savage. They had the ability to clutch up. You know, it looked like it could have been their time as well, but a second, so just falling a little bit short. But again, you can't be upset with a second place finish. This is an incredible, and they played out of their minds throughout the last 2 days. They were in first for pretty much the majority up until the last two games. So really, Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky just took away with it.
Yeah, and the third team that will auto qualify for next season's FNCS finals is Tayson, Forziar, and Nate. And look, of course, all the attention right now is going to be going to the winner, but it's very important to note that this is Forziar and Nate's first FNCS finals in over 2 seasons. The past 2 seasons of trios, they've missed the finals. And look what we've been missing out on. We've been missing out on 2 of the best players in the game, 2 players who in particular will get results like this. Top 3 in FNCS, not too shabby if you ask me. And Tayson, renowned as the best player in the world, the first player in the EU to win a back-to-back FNCS. Paired with these guys, I cannot wait to see what they do next season. A phenomenal result. If you take a look at the rest of the standings, though, as well, a lot of these players will want to, say, "Oh, we wish we could have done better." But at the end of the day, a great result for a lot of these guys. They should all be proud of themselves. And Reese, we keep going on about it, but financially, getting a piece of the cheddar ain't too bad.
Yeah, that's a nice bit of Wonga for placing in between the 11th and 20th. And, you know, I say this, I think, multiple times during the broadcast. If you're a team who's placed between the 11th till the 20th, you know what? You guys have performed incredibly well to even get here to this stage, performing through the qualifiers, performing through the semifinals, and now making it here today. And I don't want to see these teams on this page splitting up by any means. I want to see them improve, fix their mistakes. There's so much potential here from all of these teams that you've seen. You know what? It didn't work out across this weekend, across the 2 days, but it 100% can if they fix that across the next season.
Yeah, 100%. And let's take a look at the way this day started. We have some highlights for you. You know, so many of the best players, right? Coming into this weekend, we were saying this is the most stacked FNCS finals we've ever had, and it provided for all the entertainment you could have possibly wanted. You know, all the stories, all the action. You know, it's almost overwhelming, Reese, you know, trying to think back to everything that's happened this weekend.
Yeah, you know, obviously the battle we saw right at the start there between all the way up in Craggy Cliffs, right? You know, we saw it going on between High Chris's team. We saw it between our ex-FNCS champions. Now, it does feel sad to say that between Hen Janus champions, and it really seemed like on that first day, like they had the power and they were able to kind of clutch up and do it. Same again with Resin's team. Resin, Noah, and Vidil, man, they started so strong on this second day here, and it looked like there was a potential for them to make it all the way up into that top 3. Didn't end up happening for them, unfortunately, but they looked so strong today.
Yeah, 100%. They were one of the strongest teams, and it's fair to say, as much as they weren't able to be the best team across the 2 days of competition, they were the second best team today. If you would just get the points from today's games, they were the second best team. But that best team, Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki, to win the amount of games they won, 3 victory royales across the weekend, you know, the victory is deserved. These guys were absolutely phenomenal to watch. There's not much, you know, players who can say they can play at such a high level in Fortnite, period, across any region. These guys are at the top of the iceberg, and I think the sky is the limit for them, right? They've already won an FNCS, but moving forward, you could definitely see them winning another, because they have just been insane.
Yeah, and I think what was so interesting to watch about them is we watched a team who was so tunnel visioned on high ground, so tunnel visioned, but in a positive way. Usually we see teams who are just trying to chop out, trying to cycle height, use peppers, whatever they can to get that high ground in that kind of 5th zone, 4th, whatever it is earlier on. But this team has done it like I've never seen any team execute high ground as efficiently in my life. In watching many seasons, many regions, these guys just kept getting it, and whatever the situation was either, because if they had it early, cool, they maintained it. If they didn't have it, they always managed to grab it late. It's just, if you want to watch how to play high ground, go back in the VODs and look at how these guys play it. Incredible high play.
Man, an absolutely insane season. Chapter 2, Season 6 now comes to a close for Europe. As always, Fortnite fam, we love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Follow Shywager, Sancho West, Reese, and Levin. These guys pour everything they have into the broadcast. Now, before we say our final goodbyes, how about a little bit teaser of what's next to come? How about an all-star event? Now, I know you got a lot of questions, but don't worry. We'll be posting things to our social media, more information, so keep your eyes locked on there, and I'm going to have to answer their questions now after that. Well, don't forget, guys, we're going over to NA East and NA West for more Fortnite action. But if not, then we'll see you on June 23rd. Until next time, Fortnite fam, we love you, and we'll see you on the battle bus.
Beep, beep!